Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Good morning. If you can see me, do say hello. I can see there's a few of you watching. I hope you're very well. And I'm playing back to myself now on my phone. A delightful sound to hear first thing in the morning. Good morning. Do say hello if you can see me. Let me know where you're watching from. Hello, Jess. Where are you watching from? Hi, Emma. Where are you watching from? Can hear the giggles because they're just here. Good morning. Do let me know if you can see me and you can hear me. And let me know where you're watching from. It's always good to know. Is everybody feeling festive? Hi, Natasha. Where are you watching from? Let me know. Um, is everybody feeling festive? Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? We'll explore some stuff today. We'll have a good chat. So get ready to type because I'm going to be talking all things Christmas this morning. So do say hello. You're being very quiet and shy this morning. I'm not going to bite, I promise. Do say hello. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Chrissa, by the way. Nice to meet you. Emma's feeling very festive. Ready for our quiz and crafts? So yes, we've got our big hub quiz this week. I wonder if the reigning champions are going to remain champions because they're all coming. Morning, Nicole. Oh, Nicole is watching from a car park in Oxfordshire, mid-school runs. Nicole is one of our amazing advocates here. I love her. Morning, Hazel. Hi from Lincoln Kitten Mummy. I got my little kitten. For those who watch my reels, you'll see my gorgeous little kitten, although she's not that little anymore. And I got her from Hazel. And Hazel's very much in our field of work as well. She's very therapeutic. Morning, Cheryl. Let me know where you're watching from as well. Natasha says chest infections at the moment. Oh, I've just got over one. It's awful, isn't it? Children struggling to taken in stages from Gloucestershire. Oh. So I'm going to crack on before I get told off about just chatting to everybody. Oh, Belinda's watching from Cheltenham. Morning, Belinda. Oh, you've got a supervision next. Well, I'll keep it brief then. Hopefully we'll get through quite a bit. Get ready to message me as well as I'm talking, guys, because morning, Jess. Jess is also one of our amazing advocates who I adore. Oh, hello, Katie. Yeah, do let me know your thoughts as we go on this morning and we're talking about Christmas. So I'm going to switch that off. ADHD brain, I will get sidetracked. I'll come back to your comments in a minute. So good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Chrissa. I'm the founder here at Sunshine. And I'm here to talk to you today about Christmas. So tag anyone who's interested in discussing the pros and the cons of Christmas, because some of us love it, some of us hate it. Some of us are living in households where you've got lovers and haters. And it's really blooming hard. So, like I say, do say hello if you can see me. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's get involved. Now, before we get to this amazing little festive chat, sadly, I have to address something. So I just want to talk about something very briefly. Um, because there's something that's sort of come up that's very important to us here at Sunshine. So something has been brought to our attention, and it's been brought to our attention from our wonderful community. So thank you very much. We're very aware that there is a sudden appearance of some reviews about us here at Sunshine. And to put it mildly, we're very shocked by what we've been told, as they're not very nice. We're a nice bunch here at Sunshine, so it's blown our minds a little bit. And they've actually upset a lot of our lovely team, which is upsetting for me. And they've also upset a lot of our community, which is why they've got in touch. But, you know, everybody, I'm here to reassure everyone, everybody is entitled to their opinion. And we live in a world now where everything gets a review, doesn't it? I've done reviews. I'm sure you've done reviews. Reviews are really good when they're accurate and when they're fair. However, sadly, what we've been told is not accurate. And so we don't think that's fair. It's definitely not a fair representation of us. Now, our head of advocacy, Kelly, has been here almost 4 years now, I think. And she absolutely adores the impact that she has for all families all over the country. You've heard us speak about this in our webinars, her Facebook and YouTube lives. She's really passionate. And she's come to us after spending many, many years as a head teacher of a flagship specialist residential school that many of you know her from. Now, Kelly loves the way that we work here, and it affords her time with her little children. She's got the most gorgeous little children. Her daughter actually is a mini me of her, not me. And she's absolutely adorable. And so, when you think about Kelly, these unfair reviews have really hurt her personally because she puts her absolute heart and soul into what she does. And I really don't think that's very fair, given how much she's done for our community, a community I'm very proud to be a part of, especially when the content of these reviews don't actually reflect any of the concerns or queries that she's dealt with. Because if there's a concern or a query about anything, Kelly's the person tasked with dealing with those. So she would know if any of these were accurate. And so they've confused her, to be honest, and they've hurt her. And the same can be said actually for our other advocates as well. And, for them, I receive daily compliments and such lovely reviews from our community. Gabby, Nicole, Rachel, Jess, Nicola, Emily, Kerry, and Lindsay. There's loads of us here, but they're all our advocates. In fact, it was their clients who highlighted the poor reviews to us as they seemed so disjointed in terms of the service they receive as clients. So they were really they sort of said to us there's something a little bit fishy here. They work so hard and they give us so much of themselves. Honestly, we couldn't ask any more. My job is to try and prevent our advocacy team from working because there is a real danger of overworking because they're so passionate about what they do for our community. So you can imagine it's absolutely heartbreaking they've had to read such things, particularly as they've developed such a lovely relationship with their clients, and they're not aware of any of these experiences. It's really alien to us. We're a neurodivergent team here at Sunshine. You know what comes with that. It's a real strong sense of justice. And we're really proud to be part of the SEND community. And with it being the season of goodwill to all men and women, I want to protect that amazing team that I've built the best I can, particularly through the Christmas period where they should be enjoying, festivities. They should be enjoying time with their families and focusing on their own well-being after all they've given us this year. So I want to let them know just how much they're loved. I love them all so dearly. I really, really do. We are a very, very tight family here at Sunshine. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of people here as well that love them as well. So show them some love. So with that in mind, that's all we're going to say on the matter. Let's get back to the theme of today, your Christmas, your way. So like I say, do say hello in the comments. I'm going to come to the comments now and just see if, I can never find a blooming video when I'm trying to find it again. Oh, there we go. I can find you now. So do say hello. Oh, watching from New Zealand. Love that. Morning, Sally. How are you? You need to come in and see us, Sally. I would love you to come in and see us. We haven't seen you for a while. Morning, Rochelle from a dog walk. Love that. Love that multitasking. I love it. So keep your comments coming. Do say hello. Let me know where you're watching from, and let me know what you think of Christmas as well. Is it good in your house? Is it bad in your house? Is it a mixture? Do you love it? Do you loathe it? I'm very keen to hear your thoughts. Morning, Ash. Morning, Kath. I hope you're all right. And Kath, we've got our Christmas cuppa and chat, haven't we, this week in Wales? And there's a lovely hamper, beautiful prize. I shouldn't give it away, really, but we've got a lovely raffle going on down there. It's free to enter. You don't have to pay anything for the raffle. If you turn up, you get a ticket, and it's a lovely prize. So hopefully, we'll see you there. Hazel says she loves it. She loves decorating like Santa's grotto. That's me, Hazel. You see, this is why we get on. I go completely over the top. So Christmas, I'll come back. Oh, mixed. Cheryl says haters and lovers. Oh, you see, that's where it's tricky, isn't it? Because if you're all a lover, then it's easy. But if you've got a mixture there, Oh, that's lovely, Sue. That is so lovely. I'm going to come back to the comments in a minute. So some of us love Christmas. This guy, I love it. Honestly, I can't get enough of it. Many people know me as Christmas. See what I did there? But I really do love it. And our hub is decorated actually quite modestly. I don't think I've gone completely over the top. I think the majority of us here really quite like Christmas. Um, but there are opportunities here to hide away. We do have a sensory tent for anybody who's finding it overwhelming. But at home, I do go a little bit over the top. And I think this heightens the difference. This time of year heightens a difference of opinion because I love it. Doesn't mean everybody loves it. Um, and it highlights not only the difference in, love and hate, but it highlights the differences of needs, doesn't it, in the family? I think it can be a season of joy, but it can also be a season of trauma triggers. I mean, we did a webinar last week with Janina Fisher on trauma triggers, and I totally see how this time of year can really be quite triggering because I'll go through all the sensory stuff in a bit. But if we think about smell, your sense of smell, your sense that is sense of smell, um, smell goes straight to your brain. The memories are sparked straight away. How many of us, can say, "Oh, I can smell something. It's reminded me of a time in my childhood, or this workplace that I was at, or an old house that I lived in, or whatever." Smell brings back memories straight away, doesn't it? So if there are very strong smells, which there are this time of year, let's think about it. You've got a lot of the sort of spices, but also there are things like, chestnuts and stuff where you can walk past street vendors who are selling stuff like that, roasting chestnuts. It could be for me, when I was younger, my mum used to use the snow spray on the windows. And whenever I smelled the snow spray, I felt like, oh yes, Christmas. So I smelt it the other day somewhere. And I'm like, what is that smell? It smells like Christmas. And I couldn't for the life of me work out what it was. But it triggered a lovely memory, those lovely early memories of Christmases as a child. But it can also trigger bad memories as well. So trauma can be really triggered by Christmas for a variety of reasons, but smell is a big one. I think sometimes as well, what can be confusing for people is that they feel both. So they can feel equally as in love and in hate with Christmas. And I mean, I've got a little bit of that because there's a little bit of heartache in my personal life when it comes to seasons like this, which I won't go into because I'll end up just sitting here and crying, and it's not a therapy session for me. Um, but Christmas can be hard. It can be really, really hard. I'm going to come to the comments a little bit and see what you're all saying about Christmas. So Ash says, we allow the kids to pick their Christmas dinner for the day. We do not have traditional Christmas dinner. The kids pick whatever they want to eat. Last year was pizza. Sorry, this chest infection is still clearing. Do you know what? I was going to talk about a story actually where somebody has shared with us this week on our socials that they have pizza and chips for Christmas dinner. And I just think, do you know what? Whatever goes. Who made the rules anyway? It needs to be a day of connection, which we'll come on to. Hazel says the smell of port reminds me of my dad. See, that's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. I'm assuming it's wonderful. That could also be a really bad trigger, couldn't it? Depends what your relationship with your dad was like. Trip to Santa was fun as my two got overwhelmed, but took it all in, and Santa and staff were so, hang on, that just jumped, was so helpful as she wanted to leave and then not, and then talk about an issue with Santa of a mistake years ago. Oh, bless her. The other wanted to be in a room, but on the other side and on their own terms, which we run with. Absolutely. And I think places are getting more inclusive now, aren't they? Where they're becoming more and more understanding, which is just lovely. We love a carpet picnic with Christmas movie. Ah, what do you have? Talk to me about what you have in this carpet picnic because I'm all about a picky tea, as they say up north. Nicole said 1 year we had party food all day. I love that. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love the Christmas turkey, I must say. My husband goes a little bit all out. If you're a Gavin and Stacey fan, and you've watched Pam talk about her husband's love affair with a bird, that's me at Christmas time, because my husband puts the turkey in he does the Nigella stuff. He puts it in this big bath of beautiful sort of what would you call it, like a broth or something. Um, it is delightful. I don't do any cooking at Christmas. It's quite lovely. My husband takes over the kitchen. I'm very, very lucky. But I do love a turkey dinner, and my kids all really enjoy it as well. But to be honest with you, if they didn't, that would be okay as well. I would just go with whatever. I remember one of my girls, she loved a KFC at Christmas, but actually, KFC has a festive menu, and she found that really, really hard to navigate. I remember one year I took her into KFC for her pre-Christmas dinner, and she used to love it because we'd have like one-to-one time, and she almost fainted because it was just so much, which I won't talk about because I'm clearly getting emotional about that. So, how do your children feel about Christmas? Talk to me about that. I would love to know more about whether your children are Christmas seekers or Christmas avoiders, or are they a bit of both? Which I think can be quite probably the most common presentation. Natasha says, be kind and caring is our motto. We drink fruit tea, no lights outside, and slow down and visit to see family in slower stages as it's been too much. This is it. And I think you learn these things, Natasha, from getting it wrong. Let's be fair. We all kind of fumble about in those early stages, sometimes for decades, trying to get it right. And you need to get it wrong in order to get it right. So I completely get that. This year, you may have noticed on our social media channel that we've launched a campaign called Your Christmas Your Way, because what we were finding as we were discussing as part of a team is that we all have our way of celebrating Christmas, and we were all okay with it. We were all like, oh, that sounds amazing. We were all really validating of one another. However, what we discovered through our conversations was that actually, outside of our lovely sunshine bubble, people aren't so validating. They're quite judgy. And so we keep those things to ourselves, and we feel a little bit of shame about it, that we can't fit in with societal norms. Now, some of us are quite bold. And we'll be like, no, 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 I don't care what the outside world says. This is what my family are doing. And I absolutely applaud you. There are quite a few of us, though, particularly those with, I mean, people like me, I guess. I have selective mutism. So when I'm feeling particularly in danger, or I don't feel safe, I can become mute. But beyond that, I can then fawn and to try and sort of overcome the muteness, and or the mutism. And I then end up just telling people what they want to hear. So, I just end up people pleasing. So sometimes I can fall in line with other people's plans because I don't want to create a fuss. And there's quite a lot of people like me. So this is really designed to validate those people and let them know they're not on their own. They're not the only ones doing a different kind of Christmas to the ones we see on the adverts. As beautiful as, Waitrose and everybody make Christmas out to look, it's not often like that in reality, is it? I mean, who really does need a house full of drunk people eating their food and going through their cupboards? It sounds like my idea of hell, to be honest with you. Um, but Your Christmas Your Way, our campaign, is all about celebrating those differences and going with the flow of what your family needs. And like I said, we've seen some amazing things shared with us. Today, we're seeing some amazing things shared with us. From eating beans on toast and pizza and chips for Christmas dinner, like why not? Who's making the rules anyway? To spreading Christmas presents out over a few days. Now, my autistic daughter would often say to me, I cannot cope with people wrapping the presents. Can you please not wrap the presents? For all I know, there could be like a bomb in there. Um, and I'd reassure her and say, the present is from me. And she's like, look, I'm not saying I'm being rational. I'm not saying that my fear is rational. I'm just saying, why wrap it? What is the point? You're wasting money. You're wasting time. You're wasting resources. You're not being kind to the environment by wrapping my presents. And I'm just binning this wrapping paper. I feel fearful of the wrapping paper. I hate it. Just give me the gifts. So I would put them in a big Santa sack, and then give her the gifts. And then what we would do is we would open them over a couple of days, so that actually when it came to Christmas Day, she was still very excited about receiving the gifts because she wouldn't use them before that point, but at least she knew what was in that Santa sack. So she didn't feel like it was going to be complete overwhelm. I remember when I was sort of discovering her, if you like, as we're getting to know our children in those early years, she would take 4 or 5 days past Christmas to open her presents. And everybody used to say, my goodness, she's such a patient child. Now I recognize it as complete overwhelm. She couldn't cope with the volume of presents. And she was obviously an only child at that stage. I was a single mum at that stage. And I was completely like, I'm going to overcompensate from being a single mum. I'm going to overcompensate for being a working mum. And she is going to have everything her heart desires on Christmas Day. It was just awful for her and awful for me because I was witnessing quite an upset, distressed child. And so we all learned the hard way. You know, that probably traumatized her. And there's no surprise, really, that she's not a massive fan of Christmas now. And it's heartbreaking for us as parents to accept that. But I just want to be at the forefront saying, I've got it wrong. I'm not proud of it, but I think it's really important we own that and we don't live in shame over it. We get it wrong because we didn't know better. When we know better, we do better. And I think that's the most important thing. And I think it's so important that we don't allow society and social media to dictate our how our Christmas, our family's Christmas, how it pans out. Some of us don't celebrate it at all, and that's okay as well. Like everything goes, it's all okay. I think it's really important that, touching upon that experience of overwhelm with all the presents and the expense and everything else, it's really important that we don't make it about those presents. It's not about the food either, even though I've always felt like it was about the food. It's not really. It's about the connection and contentment and being together and everybody actually being happy because I see a lot of stress shared on social media over Christmas, whether that's good stress or bad stress. And I think we just need to lift that weight off ourselves. Stop putting so much pressure on ourselves. And I'm telling myself this as well. I need to take my own advice. I'm not saying I've got it, down to a T. So I'm going to come back to your comments now and see what else we're saying about Christmas. Karen says, today I found out about an organization that provides TheraPlay. I love play-based therapy to hopefully help my family as they had their funding axed. Oh, no. Oh, they have had their funding axed. That is awful. We're massively struggling. I dread Christmas and it coincides with 6 weeks off at school. 6 weeks. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking of you. Karen, reach out if you need us, okay? Come to one of our cuppa and chats online. Come and have a couple of hours of just you time. Come and have a little natter with us. If you're local to us, we've got a cuppa and chat in Wales. We've got a quiz here in Derby, but we don't have a cuppa and chat now before Christmas. But if you need us, reach out. We're here for you. Let me see what else. Oh, somebody on YouTube. So we're streaming over YouTube and Facebook today. They do presents but no surprises. Love that. Absolutely love that. And that's exactly what I was just saying about my daughter. Nicole says new Lego Christmas Eve helps everybody calm down. I love that. I love that. You know what? If we could, I mean, Nicole does loads of webinars for us and she does stuff about managing the different needs in the family. She's so good at this stuff, which I know she's learned on the job, as they say. But Nicole is so good with these ideas. I'm going to steal this one, I think, Nicole. Love this. It takes the edge off the excitement over the presents the next day. Absolutely love it. Let me see. Claire says, my lad tends to have his normal everyday beige food for Christmas dinner. Love it. No surprises and the safe foods he has every day. Absolutely. Why should he be distressed by Brussels sprouts? If he loves the beige, stick with the beige. Let's go with what's easy. Let's make it work for him. Because when it works for him, it works for you. Happy kids, happy family. Somebody on YouTube says, always find Christmas interesting as I don't celebrate it, but the festive period can apply to everyone. So I'm definitely a lover. Yeah, we've got a few members of our team that don't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but they really love this time of year with the decorations and the going out and the socializing. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Where are my tissues? I think the sneeze is gone. Oh, and we always get a cold at this time of year, don't we? We're riddled here at Sunshine. We keep passing it back and forth. But I think, yeah, the lights, For all the reasons it can trigger us, it can really make us happy as well, whether we celebrate it or not. Helen says the anticipation is too much for my PDA. My autistic daughter is my PDA, so I absolutely get that, Helen. And it's one, I'm passionate about sharing this knowledge, and the honesty that goes behind the knowledge, of getting it right, getting it wrong, mostly getting it wrong, fumbling my way through the dark with a PDA. It's really, really hard, and it's why I set up Sunshine. So you're very safe here if you want to share any stories, and also if you ever want to reach out for any help, we get it. Just let us know. My lovely Jess here in the office says, Bella, did you see the picture of Bella, guys? If you didn't see the picture of Bella on stage that we shared, please go back on our Facebook page and have a look. Bella is the boss. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm looking at her going, oh, she's a child with additional needs, therefore we have to be kind. I'm not the boss when Bella's around. Not that I'm a boss anyway. That's not the kind of style that I am. Bella is, though. Bella is bossy. And she will let us know exactly what she wants us to do. Chrissa, your hair's looking terrible. Put a bobble in it. Oh no, it looks worse now. Take it out. Thanks, Bella. You make me feel great about myself. She's so bossy. But seeing her on that stage in that picture, and then this time of year, because it can be overwhelming, her mum, I'm looking, she's here. Her mum has worked damn hard. She'll probably start crying now. I'm not going to turn the camera on her. Her mum has worked so hard with the dance school to make that happen. This is years in the making because she has a lot of fear of darkness, of being in front of people on stage. She worked it. She was born to do that. She was so happy. She was so happy, Jess. So happy. It was anyway, I could do a Facebook Live just about Bella. I love her. Even when she tells me off, and even when she tells me my hair looks rubbish. Anyway, Jess says Bella loves Christmas. However, we stagger the presents for her. She can get very overwhelmed with too much going on. She's also very unsure of Santa. Do you know what I love though about children like Bella? Is that people see a disability and probably assume that she can't communicate her needs. Bella is one of the most clear communicators I've ever met. It's the first thing I thought of, or the first thing I observed when I met her. And I watched her in a room of adults who were all panicking about trying to meet her needs at a dance show, strangely enough. And she was very clear. I want snacks. She's always up for a snack, isn't she? She loves a snack. But she will say, and we need to listen to our children. If you've got a child who is saying, I'm, or kicking off, maybe their behavior isn't particularly appropriate. I mean, Bella is just verbally, no, that's just not happening. I'm not doing it. And I adore her for that because that's a skill that I don't have. And so I adore the fact that she's got that skill set because I think it's just wonderful. But if you've got a child who's kicking off, and making it very clear that something is too much for them, listen to that. Just move away from it. Put the brakes on. One of my daughters is trained in the zones of regulation. It really works for her, and I get that it's hit and miss with children. But looking at the zones of regulation, give it a Google. She will say, I need to pump the brakes. I'm coming out of my green zone. I can't do that. And over Christmas, we plan in downtime for her. In fact, it really works for all of us. It's interesting that she's one of my daughters has got additional needs. I've got a few daughters with additional needs. I've got loads of daughters. There's about 500 of them. There's only 4, by the way. It feels like 500. But one of them has additional needs, and she's very good at saying, no, pump the brakes. I'm not doing that. That is too much. You're expecting too much of me. And she'll actually verbalize that, which is fantastic. When she was younger, it was more inappropriate behavior, challenging behavior, absolute meltdowns. But now she's able to verbalize that through the work that she's having, that she's going through with speech and language, which she's had for many, many years. And what's interesting is while we design this downtime for her, what we find is all of the children in our brood benefit from that downtime, and so do we. So listen to your kids because the chances are you'll resonate with what they need. Let me have a look at some more comments. So Karen says, I allow my son to eat what he wants. all the sweets he wants on the day. From after Christmas Day, we limit his sweets. Why not? Chocolate for breakfast. That's what my husband always says. We tend to try and have like salmon and eggs for breakfast, and the kids are like, "Yeah, or we could have chocolate." Yeah, crack on. um, Nicole says no one has to get dressed. Love this. This is how we are. Now, one of my girls, those who know me will know, loves to get dressed up. So she'll be wearing a sparkly dress all day Christmas Day. Then Ridley, who you've met on here because she's absolutely wild. She's the one who tells me what she needs. She will be in pajamas all day and she will just be absolutely immersed in, Lego or whatever it is that she's had off Santa. Nicole says the dogs even get walked with kids in their PJs. I mean, oh, I love that. And the thing is, when you'd watch a family doing that, wouldn't you just like your heart would be full knowing that they're just so content and there's been no pressure on them? Like, why not? Like Nicole says, what does it matter? Once they have a hoodie or a coat on, you can't tell and no one cares. No. And actually, do you know what? I think people do care. Well, I would care in the fact that I would go, I love that. I really have a huge sort of love for what those kids are doing. I just think it's lovely. And the fact that their parent is just going with the flow of what they need. How amazing. Morning, Leslie. Leslie says, I hope you chill out with a few drinks over Christmas, Chrissa. My son is a Christmas avoider. It's just myself and my son. We normally see family up to Christmas, but it's different this year as I lost my mum in August. Oh, I'm so sorry. He's had his Christmas presents a few weeks ago. Stagger it. Why does it need to be at that point? I think it's great. You know him, Leslie. You know him better than anybody. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. Let's see what else we've got. Anything crispy, Chrissa. I'm a huge people pleaser. Yeah, that's me. I love a crisp, by the way. I absolutely love a crisp. Is that a Welsh thing? I don't know. By the way, do you love my mug? Total ADHD moment. When we were working in South Wales, we've launched down there. We have a lovely community down there now, and we do a lot of stuff in person. And I bought this. How amazing is this? This is where I'm from, by the way. I love it. Very proud. Yeah, I'm a huge people pleaser and I'm getting better in my 40s, but isn't it sad that it took us till our 40s? What I absolutely love is that us as neurodivergent adults, when we understand that we're fawners and we're people pleasers, we can then teach our children how to actually self-advocate a lot more effectively. And I'm hoping that one of my kids is a bit of a fawner, well, she's a major fawner. And most of my work goes into trying to undo that. But it's hard, it's hard. It's in her blood, isn't it? It's been passed down from me. Sarah says, good morning, Sarah. My daughter is overwhelmed by the gift giving, even though she loves opening presents. Too many people to see, too many activities through the school. Oh, I'll come to that in a minute. Managing to get out of the front door can almost be impossible. My DLD at Ridley, she just can't wake up at the moment. She's having like 14 hours of sleep a night. She's finding it, she loves this season, but she's finding it very draining. And she goes to school. She's just recently owning her identity, has cut her hair. Well, she hasn't cut her hair. Her hairdresser's cut her hair. She looks absolutely awesome. But it does mean in the morning that it's sticking up like Sonic the Hedgehog. So she's just like, do you know what? For this season, Mum, I'm going to be Sonic. So she goes in and she has a little giggle with a Senko on the gate about how crazy her hair looks because she's just exhausted. Christmas food wise, it's all about snacks and bits she can pick out. Absolutely. It's all about the snacks at Christmas. Do you know what? I've got another question for you guys. What snacks come out at Christmas that don't come out at any other time of the year? In our house, it's Twiglets. My husband's mad for a Twiglet. Like, I'll buy them. I'll say, oh, yeah, there's two, on offer, buy one, get one free or whatever. And I'll buy them thinking, okay, that's good for Christmas. Gone. Gone within a day. Yes, Tom. You costing me money in Twiglets. But let me know what other things. I was listening to a radio the other day, and somebody said, oh, it was a podcast. Sorry, it was a podcast. They were talking about Pringles being something that comes out to Christmas. But let me know. Sorry, I've digressed. Sarah also says Christmas Day, she has sausages and beans because she can't stand the idea of Christmas dinner. Sausages and beans is like an awesome meal. That's like an award-winning meal, right? Just like basic sausages and Heinz beans. Is that just not like the dinner of winners and champions. Helen says, I've definitely fallen in with everybody else's plans in the past, and we're not doing that this year. Love that, Helen. Yeah, you go. Hopefully it'll be better. It will be. Hazel said we had family Christmas on the 24th of November. Love that. To quote Dr. Mark Widdowson, you do you. My now grown-up children are all neurodivergent, and we've navigated Christmas our way for years. Take the permission to be you. Take it from that psychotherapist, Hazel. She's amazing. So absolutely, I am with you all the way. Kath says, last couple of years, I've not gone anywhere or seen anyone. It's lovely and relaxed, just me and the two kids going with the flow. Christmas and Boxing Day are for us to relax and do what we want because that works for us. Absolutely. Karen says, my son's adrenaline ramps up and demands. They feel it. And I think that they feel it through us as well, thinking about anxiety, and anxiety can come through sort of feeling excited about something, and feeling quite nervous about something and scared about something. It is contagious. That's not a parent blaming thing. It is contagious. We went through this last week in the webinar with Janina Fisher. Those trauma triggers, when you're feeling triggered by somebody, something or somebody or an environment or whatever, or anything, if you're feeling triggered, you do naturally, just even if you think you're covering it up, you do naturally pass it on. Cheryl says it's so hard. It's the first year we're trying to change certain things as we're in the early years and we're trying to find both the kids. Cheryl, go easy on yourself. You will get things wrong, and that's okay. Just learn from it, and it's okay. And hopefully some of these stories today might help, because I wish that I could have accessed something like this in those early years, because I think that we have such enormous pressure put on us as young parents, older parents as well, actually, but as young parents, when our children are young, enormous amounts of pressure shared on social media, trying to keep up with the Joneses, going to see lights displays, going to see Santa. Oh my God, your diary's full. You just need some downtime. I'll come back to the comments in a second. There's loads. I'm loving them. Please keep them coming. I want to talk about sensory because, there is let's pick Christmas apart. I've already spoken about the smells. We talked about food as well. But let's think about temperature. Now, one of the things, I've got ADHD, many of you know. One of the things that I'm doing now since my diagnosis, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago, is still discovering what makes up me, and what part of me, forget the ADHD, it's my identity. Temperature's a huge problem for me. People laugh that they don't like being too hot or don't like being too cold. I'm not too bothered about the coldness. Although I do have a heater blowing at me right now because I thought my teeth were going to be chattering through this because it's quite cold in the office. But anyway, with heat, some people can get quite angry in the heat. I don't get angry, I get really upset. Being warm really distresses me. It makes my skin feel like somebody's putting tiny needles in it all over my body. Even my face. Oh my goodness, it's really kind of painful. And so when we're thinking about sensory, let's not just think of it as, oh, my child's uncomfortable. It could be that they feel genuinely like they're in pain. Now, I appreciate this time of year, we think of it being cold. But if you're being dragged in between shops, or you're going to people's houses and the temperature's different to what you normally sort of keep in your own house, it can be quite distressing. And, I'm talking about the heat, but it might be that children don't like the cold. Now, I love visiting London this time of year. I went a couple of weeks ago, so it was a bit quieter, although it wasn't quiet at all. I love going to see all the lights. But one of the things I find quite distressing is you wrap up warm to be outside, and then you have to go into the tube, and then you're steaming hot, and it's busy, and it's crowded, and it's not the norm. It's not the norm for me because I don't live in London. So I find that quite distressing, even though I find it exciting. But that particular day that I went, I don't think I spoke for about 2 hours, and my husband became a little bit concerned because I found it so sensory pleasing, and my dopamine, it almost like it just like killed off my brain. I'd taken too much in. So whilst I'd been seeking all this stuff, when I'm thinking about all the different elements that make up doing those sorts of activities, it actually really, really stressed my body out. Temperature is one of those things though, because you can get too hot and too cold. People just assume that you're cold all the time in the winter, but let's just really appreciate heating, and what that does, and being in different environments and different people's houses. My in-laws keep a very lovely warm house because, that is a lovely thing to do. And they're older than me, so they do get colder than me. But I find it quite distressing. So now what they do is when we stay over there, they make sure that the room we're in doesn't have any heating on. And that makes me so happy. I mean, they are amazing in-laws, so I cannot grumble at all. But being able to design those spaces for yourself is really, really important. But also when we're talking, we've spoken quite a lot this morning about going to visit people. It's not just the social experience of visiting people, it's the whole going into their homes. It smells differently. They're cooking different food. The temperature's different. Temperature, I'm going to keep banging on about it. But also along with temperature, I've just touched upon, wrapping up warm to go outside. Some kids love that. Some kids love the pressure. I laugh at myself because I've got one of those dry robes. Okay, I'm very aware that I'm part of the DRW club. I'm not going to say the words, but as I've defended myself, it's a very, very heavy coat. Now, that to me is a weighted coat. It's perfect for me. So in a time like this, I love nothing more than putting that coat on because it's heavy, it's weighted. That really pleases me. But some kids love being wrapped up. Some kids hate being wrapped up. So one of my girls who presents very much as if she's got ADHD, she absolutely hates wearing anything more than a puffy jacket. It can only come to her hips. Anything longer than that, and she's like, I can't move. And it becomes really stressful, and she hates the fact she can't move her legs. She can move her legs, there is space, but having it touch her legs, it's a no-go. So, thinking about those clothing. Also, Christmas jumpers and dressing up days at school. Some kids love it, some kids hate it. One of my girls, my DLD, Ridley, she used to really struggle. In fact, my elder daughter would struggle as well, come to think about it, knowing which days were Christmas jumper days. And their head teacher, when they were in the infants, was like, it's December, every day can be Christmas jumper days. Girls, if you want to wear it, it's fine. It makes no difference. Are you content with your learning? Then wear the blooming jumper. I mean, how amazing is that head teacher? We're very lucky, by the way, because that head teacher now works as Sunshine Support. She is amazing. Very, very inclusive. I mentioned her earlier, she is absolutely out of this world. But it can be very, very confusing, particularly for our neurodivergent children. It's like, why am I allowed to wear a Christmas jumper on one day where I take a pounding for something, but I'm not allowed to wear a Christmas jumper any other day when I really want to wear my Star Wars Christmas jumper or whatever it may be? But also, think about their days at school. The routines are all out of whack. They're all over the place, aren't they? They're doing new activities. All of a sudden, learning is lifted with a lot of our children, and they're doing activities. And so that throws them, particularly neurodivergent children who thrive on routine. Routine can be really disrupted at this time of year. And home can seem quite unfamiliar as well. Because I remember watching, I don't know whether you've seen this, but Pablo on CBBS. Bear with me, okay? Because actually, I think this is a show that all adults and all children should watch. Pablo is a show on CBBS all about an autistic boy, and he escapes into his world of drawing when he's trying to figure stuff out. It's absolutely gorgeous. What I love is that they completely explain why he thinks the way that he does, and that it's not less than, it's not a special ability or anything, it's a difference. And I absolutely love that about Pablo. It is my favorite children's TV show. I will happily sit there on my own. My children have outgrown CBBS. I will happily sit there watching it. Anyway, Pablo, he noticed his mum, or his mum came in to the house with a new coat on. It was a purple fluffy coat. And all he could see was a bird, a big purple bird. So he was like, why is there a purple bird in my house? Actually, it was his mum. And his mum was just wearing this fluffy coat. But it was not normal. It was not normal practice. It wasn't within their normal routine. It felt really different. It made him feel like, he didn't recognize his mum in the coat. So we need to understand that, these small little changes can really disrupt the way a child thinks. And even in the home, things can feel different. The usual adults, you wear usual clothing, and then all of a sudden you're wearing more sequins and sparkles and Christmas jumpers. Those sorts of things. I'm not saying not to do it, but perhaps do some work on helping your child to understand why that happens. Um, Homes can look really, really different as well because there are decorations. Things are moved around to accommodate the decorations. I love a Christmas tree, so I move my entire living room around to accommodate my beautiful Christmas tree, which is my life. At this time of year. We've talked about foods, and I think even safe foods can be compromised at this time of year because things can be added to make them more festive. Like I said earlier about the KFC situation with my daughter, she loved the KFC. It was very much the same every time we went in. It doesn't change. The chicken tastes the same. The chips taste the same. There was a particular KFC branch that she liked to go in. She liked to sit in a certain seat. And if she couldn't manage the actual restaurant, we would do the drive-through. We had a specific way of doing this KFC thing. When we went in at Christmas, not only was it really busy, but it had a festive menu. And like I mentioned earlier, she went grey. I thought she was like, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna faint. I can't cope with how much I thought I'd be safe in here. I thought this would be okay. So we had to grab the food and just go. And then she felt like, oh, I failed in something. That's something we enjoy doing. Why am I such an idiot? Why am I not able to cope with this? So there's so much change, and it can be really shame-inducing for so many of us. Now, some of us love it. Like I said, I really do love all of this. Some of us hate it. And then you've got the situation like me and my daughter where you're managing different needs, and it's really hard. And I think what we need to remember is, and I've learned this the hard way, no amount of forcing things upon someone makes them get used to it. What I love about the comments here this morning is that you've either experienced that and you realize it doesn't work, or you've just not bothered doing the whole forcing thing at all, which is so commendable. I admire you and your strength. I really, really do. In fact, it shouldn't really take strength, should it? But for people like me, people pleasers, it really does. I just wish I knew back then what I know now, you know. And I feel like I put my child off Christmas for life, and it makes me really, really sad, which is why I'm passionate about this topic, as I mentioned. Um, so I think that we just need to be shame-free this Christmas and do your Christmas your way, like we're campaigning for at Sunshine. Um, and I think, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. Just accept the mistakes are going to happen. There's no shame in it. There's so much anxiety this time of year. It can be good, it can be bad. And it's nearly always really, really big and overwhelming. Does this resonate with you? Let me know in the comments. I'll come back to the comments in a sec. And I think as well, that the pressure to keep up with activities, the presents, the elf on the blooming shelf. Oh my God. My kids hear about this all the time, and they're like, why do we not do it? And I said, well, what? No, not doing it. I remember doing this in the early days and kind of going, oh, getting into bed at 12 o'clock at night and then going, oh, the elf. Gotta go and put it somewhere and do something creative and keep up with everybody else. No, scrapped that a long time ago. Interestingly, my kids now do it for each other. And they do this whole, oh, the elf is in the fridge. Wonder how he got there. So it's become fun. There's no pressure. The school fair, the school concert, shows, pantos, light displays, breakfast with Santa. So much at this time of year. And then you work out about the financial pressure. And one of the big things for me is the single parents. These are the people I really feel for, actually. They really feel a difference this time of year. It could be like, like me, I was a single mum. They love Christmas, but their child doesn't. And a lot of parents then decide, actually, this is just not going to happen for us this year. We're not going to do Christmas. But it does mean that parent who actually previously found Christmas a really important, lovely time of the year might not even get a card, let alone a present. So, I really do think we need to be sparing a thought or two or 10 for our single parent friends this Christmas. Is this you? Comment. I'm going to come to the comments in a second. But if you know someone who's a single parent, do go out of your way to do something nice for them. Make them feel, particularly if they love Christmas and that that love is being stifled, there's stuff you can do. It might be that they don't have babysitters. Do something in school time. Just do something. Maybe a little card through the door. I really am not into this culture of giving to charity and not buying cards, because there are really good cards that are actually they give to charity anyway, but also for a couple of quid. Can we not just do both? I love giving cards because I like to think that that's my little way of delivering joy through someone's letterbox. I take my kids on, I'm such a saddo. I say to them, jump in the car, we're going to deliver all the cards by hand and we're going to see all the Christmas lights. And my little three love that. And it's something we do every year. That's like a little tradition. But I love receiving Christmas cards. If you want to send us Christmas cards here at Sunshine, we're going to love them. Okay. We don't have enough of them. People don't give enough Christmas cards. I love a Christmas card. I've been writing some this morning before I came on the live. I love a Christmas card. Just putting it out there for everybody. I love a Christmas card. But there is a lot of people pleasing, and in line with everything I've just mentioned, you've got maskers like me who burn out really quickly, and then there's the social exhaustion. I put a reel up this week actually about social exhaustion because, in fact, I think it was on our Facebook page last night. Do have a little look at that, because I talk about being ready for a Christmas do and enjoying yourself. And we've just had ours here at Sunshine and we absolutely loved it. And I couldn't wait to see everyone because, like I said, we are like a real tight-knit family. But at the same time, the following day, boom, I was absolutely spent. I didn't drink or anything. I was completely sober. I was driving. However, the following day was like I had a major hangover, and it is a social fatigue or a Christmas hangover, Christmas party hangover with no alcohol. So I think, it would be good this year if some of you could switch off from your socials. Don't be, pressured to be on socials. Just you do you. Be present in your family. Do what's needed. And like I say, that's why we've launched Christmas Your Way. It's so important that we don't follow the norms and we go with the flow of what our family needs. And it's been interesting to see some of the things that have been shared with us throughout the campaign. And I love that we've got so many ideas and so much validation on this thread. Let's make this thread all about supporting one another and validating one another. So do let me know your top tips as well. I'm going to come to your comments in a second. Oh, not a second. No. Let's have a little look. Let's have, oh, where are we? Okay. Stacey says, my child is masking at school and does, to the point, anything the teacher says. So the Christmas play, he is a Santa, but she said they just don't need black trousers, don't want him looking at the poor kid. They want to get him a suit. How do I convince him? I don't know whether convincing would be appropriate. I think if you've got a child who just can't do this, like I've just mentioned, it might really hurt him. And let's be fair, dressing up costumes, they're always made from like, it's making me feel uncomfortable. They're made from like the horrible nylon. I can't put it on because, like, just the thought of it is making me like recoil. I really don't like costumes and the feeling of costumes. Like, my kids love costumes. They're like all, they dress up all as their favorite characters and stuff. I can't. I can't help them into the costume. I can't help them out of the costume. For Halloween, I had to have a blow-up costume because I don't do costumes. I don't like the feeling of them. So actually, work with your child and say, how are we going to do this? Do you want to be Santa? It might be that you have to go into school and advocate for him and say, look, I know he said yes, but I don't think he actually wants it. Maybe he wants to write a letter to say, look, I'm really sorry. I don't want to let everybody down, but this isn't something I want to do. But also, why would not being fully in Santa gear make him look like a poor kid? Like, I just think that's a horrible term for the school to have used. But I think don't force it. If a child really wants it, then do something to make it work. It might be that you can find red joggers one of my girls has a red, in fact, yeah, she's got a red tracksuit, hoodie and trousers, and that would work for Santa, wouldn't it? You could actually add little bits to it, put a Santa hat on, that's all right. Just go with the flow, go with what he is able to do and what suits him as well. Because remember, these things with sensory, it's not just about things being uncomfortable. It could be that it actually hurts them or makes them recoil, like I just did. Hazel said we had fruit salad for breakfast and then any sweets they like, love it. Rochelle says, how do I contact you regarding advice? Just ping us a DM. Just send us a DM on Facebook, and we'll help you, Rochelle. Not a problem. Stacey says we have free food. We have a free for all. Sorry, food and clothes. Even make sure we drive to my mum's too in our PJs. And isn't it lovely when extended family members then just accept, like, yep, they're coming to us in their PJs, but they're ready for fun or they're ready to connect or whatever. Love that. Oh yes, Jess says very merry munch. What's a very merry munch? What's that?
Tin from M&S.
Oh, I've seen that. The tin from M&S, where it's just like a mixture of different things.
Popcorn.
Oh, yeah, Chetzels. God, it's that time. I think we're ready to finish, aren't we? I can't even talk. Pretzels is what I meant to say. And popcorn and chocolate and sweets and everything. Vicky says, worth of watching from Merthyr. I'm losing all my words. I'm really sorry. It's getting to that point. Vicky says, watching from Merthyr, Nadolig Llawen. Same to you, Vicky. That means Merry Christmas in Welsh. And I come from Aberdare, which is not far from Merthyr. And we have our lovely base down there. Vicky, if you want to come along, we've got a cuppa and chat happening in Cunnan Link in Aberdare on Wednesday, 12 till 2. And we're going to do some festivity stuff. We're going to have a raffle. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Just come along. Free entry to the raffle. Terry's mint orange. I don't know whether this is a criminal offence, to be honest with you, Katie. Chocolate orange, but the mint orange. Actually, I did try a mint orange last year, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. Because in my head, maybe I'm being a little bit too literal. Maybe this is like a neurodivergent thing. I was thinking it was going to be a chocolate orange with mint flavoring as well as the chocolate. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about this. This is like sending my brain into overdrive. And then Tom, my husband, said, no, try it. I don't think it's orange, even though it's shaped like an orange. It's driving my neurodivergence crazy, this one, but it was quite nice. So maybe what I need to do is get somebody to break it up for me first. So it doesn't look like a chocolate orange. I do love a Terry's chocolate orange though. I make a mean Terry's trifle. I must bring it in the office in the new year. I'll do it for my birthday. Chocolate orange trifle. Amazing. Anyway, just saying. Helen says, my PDA can't cope with his brother getting presents. We have to separate them mostly at home, reducing as many demands as possible, but not sure how to navigate the jealousy between my twin boys. I've got twins as well. We've got so much in common, Helen. I think this is really bad, okay? Well, it's not really bad. It's really good, but it's really hard to do. That divide and conquer is really tricky, but it's really worth it. I know that many of us here have learned the hard way again about the divide and conquer sort of approach to things, whether it's holidays, going on a family holiday sometimes doesn't work for us anymore. And we have to divide our children up and go on to separate holidays. It sounds like a nightmare, but it works for a lot of families. And I think this sort of mentality also works at Christmas. How you do that, I don't have any particular tips because it would all depend on how your family setup is, how your dynamic is, how your house looks, where you're able to keep your kids, and whether there's more than one parent or, a caregiver that can assist. But don't be ashamed and don't be, don't feel negatively about the divide and conquer. If that doesn't make sense, pop a comment and I'll come back to it. My daughter will hand out presents to everyone, see what everyone else has, then we'll open hers at the end very slowly over hours. We'll have up until 3 p.m. until the whole family come over for Christmas dinner. Dreading that bit. Oh yeah, I think a lot of people do, don't they? They have these big ideas of, yeah, let's all get together at Christmas, and then they're like, why have I done that? Oh, Kath, yeah. Terry's chocolate orange, which I'm on board with, and matchsticks. I do love a matchstick. They only come out at Christmas, don't they? I don't even know if they're sold the rest of the year. Absolutely love a matchstick. with a nice Bailey's coffee. Mm. Definitely so difficult, Sarah says. A lot of time spent crying, wanting to do the best for your child, but not knowing how to navigate it all. Have a good cry, Sarah. I had a good cry when I woke up yesterday morning. I think crying is healing. That's what I always say to everybody. Crying is healing. Have a good cry. Get it out your system. If it doesn't come out your system, it just sits on your organs and it makes you poorly. Have a good cry and Google. Google is your friend here. Or just look through the feed. You might have some ideas here. Or ping us a message. Just send us a message. Because when you send us a message, it comes through to all of us here. It doesn't come through to all of us, but all of us here have experience personally with diversity of some variety. Um, and so we're very empathetic, very, very understanding. There's no shame here. We will validate you, but we will also reach out. If there's anything in particular that you think I'm really struggling to navigate XYZ, ping it in a message to us on Facebook, because the chances are one of us will shout out, guys, have we got any ideas for this particular parent? They're struggling with this. What can I say to them? Anybody else experience that? We've got a lovely big team here at Sunshine, so we're able to do that. So just ping us a message. It's absolutely fine. Um, Helen says, I have this with heat. So I was talking earlier about heat making it like prickly on your skin. My parents' house is so hot and I often have to go and stand outside because I can't feel like I can breathe. Yes, yes, breathing. Oh my God, yes. Gabby says, our lovely Gabby Sunshine says, I can't breathe when I go shopping as I need a coat up north to go out, but then I melt in the shops. Yes. You see, this is why we're going so much online, isn't it? Um, Somebody here in Sunshine said, why are the shops heaters hotter than the surface of Mercury? That's a very clever comment. I'm wondering who that was. Not you, Jess. Jess is like, no, 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 I'm not that clever. No. I know you didn't say that. I just put words in your mouth. I'm just joking. Banter. It's okay. She's not harmed. You're all right, Jess, yeah? Yeah. Mine hate the change of uniforms and we have to mark it on the calendar in advance as well as his routine. Great stuff. Yes. So preparation. I know we're a little bit in the throes of it now, but preparation for this time of year, visual cues. Visual stuff is really good. Even if you think, oh my God, visual is just for babies or visual is just for children who have maybe impaired communication. No, visual is a really, really good thing. One of the things we talk a lot about here as a team, because a lot of us are neurodivergent, is how can we make this more visual? If we've got a plan for a webinar, how can we make this more visual? How can we make sure that the information is landing with us in an appropriate way? Visual cues, absolutely on board with that. Katie says Pablo is one of her favorites too. I absolutely. Oh, and Helen remembers the episode. I'm going back a little bit too far now, aren't I? I'm very aware of time. I've gone way over time. Karen says we have fresh cherries, strawberries, pavlova, roast turkey, cheesecake, and a fresh fruit salad. Sounds colourful and gorgeous. Love it. Pleases my ADHD brain, that one. So Helen says it's been reassuring because other people do stuff too. And oh, this is the divide and conquer. It's sad because I hardly ever see my hubby. I know. And one of the things that me and my husband do, and I know that quite a few, I'm pointing here because I know Jess does the same, is we schedule in time together. Time maybe where the kids are in school and we schedule that time in, maybe book some hours out of work to spend some time together because sometimes life can take over and all of a sudden you just like ships are passing the night. You got one parent, covering one child, another parent covering another child. And so you lose your way a little bit as a couple. And I think being a send parent can often divide us in ways that we didn't realize was possible. So having to book that in, and it's sad because my diary actually has meetings with my husband in my diary, but it has to happen. It has to be scheduled in, otherwise it just doesn't happen. So Cheryl says, my mum was a single mum, so I know what it's like as the child on the end. I hope you can find some space in the day or some small wins during the Christmas period. If you have a childhood memory from Christmas, like the smell of foods that you can have during the day that's just for you, or a bubble bath, if you like them. I love a bubble bath. I'm with you. What a lovely, lovely bit of advice. I love that. Okay, I think that we've probably come to an end. I've run right over, but I hope you found today really helpful. Don't be a stranger. Do let us know if you need any help with anything. But remember, your Christmas your way. We'll share lots of posts over the season so that you feel validated and seen, and you can share some top tips with others, because I think that's really, really important that we feel connected. We're in this together, guys. We're in this together. It doesn't need to be a divide in this community. Let's just work together. I think it's just lovely when we're all on the same page and we're all pushing towards the same goal, supporting one another, validating one another, seeing one another. It's just lovely, isn't it? More love, less hate. That's what I say. So have a lovely day. If you need us, get in touch. Just send us a DM. We will have staff working over the Christmas period, manning the social pages. So if you need anything, just give us a shout. We will always do our best to support you. And have a lovely day and have a lovely Christmas, however that may be for you and yours. See you soon. Bye.